Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. WBA regular champion Gervonta Davis boasts a fight with Rolando Romero to take care of before a particular order comes to fruition against George Kambosos Jr. Davis vs Romero got to re-stipulated by the World Boxing Association due to a promise to have one sole title holder by 2023. Romero was the interim champion before WBA President Gilberto Mendoza made the shocking decision to scrap all those kind of titles. This scenario meant many interim rules were left wondering what will happen next. Well, Mendoza added that all interim title holders would get a shot at a secondary champion of that division. That's where Davis vs Romero comes in for 2022. The winner will then get ordered to battle the super champion as the next mandatory order. This outcome means Kambosos, potentially after his mandatory with the WBO and a voluntary later in 2022. Therefore, the winner of Davis vs Romero, strongly favored to be the former, will be stipulated to fight Kambosos, if still the champion, by the first half of 2023. The WBA acted following months of uncertainty surrounding their future, after allegations of racism, corruption, and questions over the scoring of fights. Ironically, the WBO, who spoke up after WBN stated they would not recognize the WBA as a sunshining body until they clean up their act. My friend Gilberto Mendoza Jr. runs the WBA as he sees fit, said Paco Valcarcel. What I don't understand is the complacency of certain boxing writers. Also, to we commentators, when it comes to the 42 so-called world champions that the WBA currently has in 17th division. The WBA have been designated as super, regular, interim, and gold. For example, they currently have 4 champions in the heavyweight division. I don't understand it, and I'm not going to keep quiet about it either. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoyed the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I am trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. Garcia opens up about split from Reyes. He didn't have time to work 100%. Garcia made a swift change to his budding boxing career on February 11, when he split from her-led coach Eddie Reynoso and named the equally respected Joe Guzin as a new head trainer. Garcia's father and lifelong coach Henry will still remain in the picture as a sole trainer, after originally shocking the boxing public by releasing a statement announcing the switch. Garcia opening up about the situation in more detail, saying that he was 2 weeks into training camp for his upcoming fight against Emmanuel Tagoe and still hadn't seen Reynoso. So he decided to make the switch. Eddie didn't have the time to work 100%. He's a very busy trainer, and I understand, Garcia told. Sometimes you have to make our change for the better. It's nothing against him. He is a good trainer. I won 5 fights with him by knockout, so there is nothing wrong. I'm going to another level, and I need a full-on, 100% trainer. It was never bad blood. It was about dedication and time, you know? Garcia also opened up about his first week of training with Guzin. It's amazing, he said. Drew is a very dedicated trainer, watching all my mistakes if I make any and corrected them. He is on top of them at all times. He doesn't just see my talent, because a lot of people would be just like, damn, he's so quick, he's so fast. But sure, he has it down to what I need to work on. I'm always open, alert, and here to listen. You know me. I'm dedicated and always ready to go. I train from pretty much from 6 o'clock AM to 9 o'clock at night every day. It's more than a 9 to 5. It's 6 to 9. The 23-year-old Garcia will remain based in San Diego, the location of which Reynoso trained arguably the sport's strongest stable. It featured Canelo Alvarez and the likes of Andrews Jr., Oscar Valdez and Frank Sanchez, among others. Garcia is in the midst of preparing for a comeback fight, following a break battling mental health issues and right-hand surgery against Tagoya in San Antonio on April 9th. Before the break-up, Reynoso's spring schedule was filling up with big-time fights. Valdez is set to face Shakur Stevenson in a junior lightweight unification bout on April 30 in Las Vegas, and Alvarez has his sights set on fighting May 7th against an opponent still to be determined. Garcia's camp and fight week would ultimately overlap with Valdez and Alvarez's training schedules and certainly create scheduling conflicts for Reynoso. Henry Garcia told Boxing Stance that in addition to the lack of time, Reynoso was able to commit. His son wanted to strike out of his own because he wanted independence, his own gym, and to build a better brand. Ryan decided that it was time for him to have his own gym, where he's not confined to a certain schedule and a certain day. It's like, hey, we have a fight coming up, you know? He wanted to build his own brand and make it bigger, said Garcia. I think it's time. It's like when you have an apartment. You get tired of renting and you want over your place. It's almost like that. The main thing is that Ryan didn't want to feel that he was, in somebody else's. He felt that his brand can hold up. Just like Floyd Mayweather Jr. when Mayweather decided to move away from Top Rank and start his own thing. It's almost the same thing. He just didn't want to feel confined to one area, where you have to wait until they decide to work out, and this and that. We don't want that. We want to have our own place, and what's wrong with that? Ryan is becoming a strong man and making his own decisions. That's the bottom line, and we have to respect that. He is not a kid anymore. He wants to make his own decisions, and it's not a bad decision. We are still in contact with everybody at Team Canelo. We have love for Canelo, Eddie, and the team, said Henry. They are beautiful and awesome people. I can't emphasize that enough. We respect them and there are no hard feelings at all. We thank them for all of their assistance and are appreciative for everything they've done. But I guess when we have to make some changes, that's something that's decided. Ryan Garcia believes he has to assume a sense of noblesse oblige in order for Gervonta Davis to fight him. The 23-year-old Garcia and 27-year-old Davis are two of the most popular fighters in the sport, but efforts to get both in the same ring have been so far unsuccessful. Garcia, who seems to believe that he has the higher Q score than Davis, says ordinarily he should command the bigger slice of the financial pot, but in the interest of getting the potential fight over the negotiating line, he says he will take a haircut on his purse. That means splitting the money equally 50-50. He can make a pay-per-view with someone else, but I guarantee it's not given to do well, Garcia said of Davis in an interview with Inside Boxing Live. The only pay-per-view that's going to do well is him and myself. At the end of the day, you have to come up with a great deal that works for both of us. And no, you're not a bigger star than me, dude. Don't say that. I'm probably more of a star than you, but you won't admit it. So I will suck my ego up and say 50-50, Garcia said. One thing going against Garcia, despite a buzz he generated on social media, is that he has no appearance on pay-per-view, while Davis has. In fact, the Baltimore native's last 3 fights have been on pay-per-view platform. Davis' handlers have been vocal about pointing to concrete figures in illustrating their charges' commercial appeal. Whatever the Davis camp believes, Garcia insists he is more than willing to forego many of his usual demands, save for, say, the choice of his gloves. To make that fight, Davis, I will definitely on some stuff. Suck it up, Garcia continued. Okay, we will give you that. I won't be like Marcos Maidana and not be using the gloves that I want. He won't make me do that type of stuff. No, he won't get on me. 50-50. Even though I should probably deserve a little more, I will definitely take 50-50. That's probably the lowest I will take, Garcia said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really want to get 100 subscribers on my channel.